Jaguar F Pace review. The Jaguar F Pace is a watershed moment for the ascendant British car maker. As the company's first SUV, it is, in principle, the catalyst to transform the brand from upwardly mobile minnow to truly global player, to broaden its reach for a much wider customer base, boost its production volumes into the hundreds of thousands per year, and give it a presence in one of the fastest growing market segments in the world. To describe it as important is selling it a bit short. And yet it's not just another medium-sized, middle-of-the-road upmarket soft-roader, nor, quite plainly, a Jaguar as we might expect it to be. It's a bit different to look at, to sit in, and very much so to drive, as a day on a frozen lake in Sweden with one has just demonstrated. Arriving in UK showrooms this April, the F Pace, which has been for years in the making, shares its D7A platform with the XE and XF saloons. The car's body in white is almost identical to that of an XF from the B-pillar forwards, with a bespoke front subframe slotting in to allow for the longer travel suspension that an SUV needs, but unique from the B-pillar back. Almost 80% of the superstructure is lightweight aluminium, and almost 90% of the car's components are new rather than common with either XE or XF. Powertrain options start with a 178 Bishop 2.0-liter Ingenium diesel, manual gearbox and rear-wheel drive, ranging upwards to include automatic and four-wheel drive Ingenium options. Then further upwards to a 296 Bishop, 516 pounds for 3.0-liter twin-turbocharged diesel and a 375 Bishop 3.0-liter supercharged petrol, both of the latter offered exclusively with 8-speed automatic gearboxes and four-wheel drive. But unlike Land Rover's smaller 4S, which use transverse engines and clutch-based four-wheel drive systems, the F Pace has a long-base engine sending 100% of its torque to the rear axle as a default. Active all-corner traction comes courtesy of the same electro-hydraulic coupling you'll find in an F-Type AWD, which can send up to 100% of power to either axle within a tenth of a second when called to, although in the F Pace that drivetrain operates through a beefier front differential. Suspension is common in concept to the all-independent ZEBS of both the XE and XF, with front double wishbones and an interlink multi-link arrangement at the rear. Non-height adjustable steer coils, passive dampers and conventional anti-roll bars feature as standard, a healthy 213mm ground clearance trunk of what most of the German opposition can offer, yet in the Jaguar's case without the aid of optional air springs. Continuously variable damping adds some breadth of capability to upper trim level cars, as does a clever traction and stability control system, called Adaptive Surface Response, which reads the grip level underneath the car's wheels by the millisecond and adjusts its throttle map towards split and stability and traction control. Settings to suit. We drove the top-of-the-range 3.0-liter V6 SAWD model on 20-in wheels shod in Continental winter tires, which are due to the optional fit in the UK. A touch softer and more soulful than its key German rival, while at once being more poised and engaging to drive than all of its others. It's simultaneously more practical, capable and secure to drive than any of its rangemates, too. But we'll get to that. First, it's worthwhile pausing to consider how different the F Pace might have been if not for the launch, midway through the Jaguar's development process, of the car that rocketed straight to the top of our mid-sized sports SUV charts 2 years ago, the Porsche Macan. Until the Macan came along, Jaguar had been benchmarking the BMW X3 for driving dynamics and the Audi Q5 for cabin quality, practicality and functionality. The Audi set us a high standard, says Jaguar engineering manager Dave Shaw, but while we liked the way the X3 handled, we were confident about beating it dynamically. But the Macan threw everything up in the air, putting the F Pace project back months. We had some big decisions to make, says Shaw. Could we match the Porsche own ride and handling using the car we got, retuned and rethought, and still end up with something that felt like us, like a Jaguar? They decided they could, and promptly fitted firmer coil springs and anti-roll bars, then retuned the dampers and altered the wheel angles for crisper on-center steering response, ending up with the F Pace more or less as it is now. I'm glad the Macan came along when it did, another engineer explained. Because before that the F Pace felt like a more normal SUV to drive. I'd have worried that we'd made it too much like what Land Rover offers. Afterwards, the car became the modern sports crossover we intended it to be all along. By that, you can't take it that it means inherently more sporting than the class norm without feeling at all too highly strung for the road. It must have been a tricky compromise to strike, but Shaw sums it up neatly with reference to the F Pace's rangemates rather than its competitors. We've aimed for the comfort and refinement of XF, and the handling response and driver appeal of XE, he says, and I think we've achieved that. The Porsche probably grips harder on perfectly smooth, dry roads with all of the optional chassis kits dialed up, but I think the F Pace is more engaging and better handling on most roads. The road. Not somewhere we were permitted to drive the F Pace prototype at this juncture, with the European press drives planned for April. However, on 500mm thick Swedish lake ice and densely packed snow, which is nothing like as smooth in reality as you might expect, the car certainly did everything necessary to back up those claims. The hit point is medium-high, and pretty typical of its competitors, so getting in requires no bending or stooping. Once you're in, the seats are wide and comfy and the driving position promisingly recumbent, with a close roofline and high-feeling waistline making it feel particularly nicely ensconced. The occupant space isn't as generous as some medium-sized SUVs, but a 6'4" adult can easily find comfort in either row, while boot space is generous below the window line. The cabin looks and feels very much like that of an XF, with a few distinguishing features. Variable color LED strip lighting gives the cockpit a pleasant glow after dark. Elsewhere, Jaguar's next-generation in-control touch-throw infotainment system is available, whose screen is an impressively wide 12.3 in and whose processing power is evidently much greater than in the systems available on the XE and XF, leading to quicker responses and better usability. Adaptable LCD instruments are another high-end touch, with an option to display navigation mapping across the full width of the 10-inch binnacle screen, although not quite with the graphical brilliance of Audi's virtual cockpit. Like other Jaguars, the F Pace has normal, dynamic and eco driving modes, added to which is the adaptive surface response mode for slippery surfaces and a new fully configurable custom mode allowing you to tailor steering weight, damping and powertrain response to your own preference. The F Pace will be available in 4 trim levels: Prestige, R Sport, Portfolio and S, with the entry-level Prestige trim coming with 18-in alloys, a powered tailgate, heated front seats,